You are about to understand something that most men never get told directly. You think attraction is random. You think some men are just born with it and others are not. You think it's about genetics, height, money, or luck. That is exactly why you keep losing to men who are not better than you. Listen, women are not attracted to chaos, insecurity, or desperation. Women are pulled in and locked in by structure, by how you live, by how you move, by how you respond. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be rich. You do not need to be famous. But you do need to be this: intentional. An attractive man is not attractive by accident. He is attractive because of habits that are installed so deeply into him that they speak for him before he even opens his mouth. Tonight, I am going to walk you through 5 habits every attractive man has, and I am going to do it in a way that forces you to confront yourself, because this is not entertainment. This is the moment you either upgrade into a man women respect and desire, or you stay exactly where you are, replaceable, forgettable, convenient. You are going to feel called out. Good. That means your brain is awake. That means you are not numb. Keep listening. The first habit is emotional regulation under pressure. I am not talking about fake coldness. I am talking about real nervous system control. In psychology and behavioral studies of pair bonding and mate selection, one thing repeats. Women are biologically sensitive to the emotional stability of a man because it signals safety, predictability, and leadership. When you react impulsively, when you get defensive, when you panic, when you explain yourself too much, when you try to fix how everyone feels all the time, you are broadcasting one message: I am not in control of myself. That kills attraction instantly. Control is not about raising your voice to dominate a room. Control is about not needing to. Control is about being able to hold tension without escaping it. When tension appears, most men leak. They leak through nervous laughter. They leak through over-talking. They leak through people-pleasing. They leak through apologizing when nothing is wrong. Attractive men do the opposite. They don't rush to soften the moment. They don't fill silence with noise. They don't scramble for validation. They sit in the moment and let other people feel what they feel. That alone makes them magnetic. Why? Because calm is rare. Calm is expensive. Calm is something you cannot fake for long. Calm tells her, if life goes dark, this man does not collapse. And you need to understand how primal that is. Women subconsciously read your emotional regulation as a survival filter. Are you a stabilizer, or are you another source of chaos? That scan happens quickly, usually within minutes. This is why a guy can look physically perfect and still get ignored after talking for 2 minutes. His mouth kills his face. Now here is what nobody told you. Most men live addicted to emotional reactivity. They are constantly triggered, constantly chasing reassurance, constantly trying to control how others see them. That is insecurity disguised as intensity. That is weakness disguised as passion. And women feel the difference. Emotional regulation is not numbness, it's precision. It is the ability to acknowledge what you feel without letting it run you. That is what creates the presence that women describe as masculine. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is not needy. It is grounded. You build this habit through repetition, not theory. You stop explaining yourself every time you feel tension. You stop arguing from ego. You stop defending every little thing. You slow your response. You let silence exist. You speak less. And when you do speak, you speak with clarity. You make statements instead of justifications. You do not chase reassurance. You create certainty. Pay attention. This habit alone separates you from at least 90% of men, because 90% of men are emotionally noisy. And emotional noise kills attraction faster than physical imperfection. The second habit is ruthless self-respect in micro decisions. Not the motivational poster version of self-respect. I am talking about the unglamorous way you respect yourself moment by moment, especially when nobody is watching. Attraction is not built in one gesture. It is built in a pattern she can observe. She is constantly, quietly studying how you treat yourself. She is reading how you eat, how you sleep, how you speak about yourself, how you respond to disrespect, how you allow your time to be used. Understand this. People do not treat you based on what you say you want. They treat you based on what you tolerate. So when you keep tolerating crumbs, you are announcing that crumbs are enough for you. That is why women stop valuing you. Not because they are cruel, but because you demonstrated that you will accept being devalued. You taught them that. An attractive man does not need to scream, "I have standards." His standards are visible in how he lives. Let's be extremely direct. When you cancel your own priorities the second someone calls you, you are training the world to believe that your time means nothing. When you say, "It's fine," to behavior that you know is not fine, you are broadcasting, "Walk over me, I won't leave." When you abandon your training, your work, your sleep, your purpose just to be available, you are communicating that you are not a man on a mission. You are a man waiting to be used. Women do not bond deeply with waiting men. Women test waiting men. Women take attention from waiting men. Women forget waiting men. Self-respect in micro-decisions looks like this. You keep the promises you make to yourself even when it is inconvenient for someone else. You say no without apologizing for having a boundary. You slow down before agreeing to something instead of instantly offering yourself. You remove yourself from disrespectful dynamics instead of negotiating with them. You do not beg for basic treatment. You do not compete for what is not being freely offered. You stop trying to prove your worth to someone who is showing you indifference. When you live like that consistently, something powerful happens. Your energy shifts from "please choose me" to "I am already chosen, with or without you." That shift is not arrogance. That shift is what creates polarity. Polarity is the tension between desire and respect. She cannot desire what she does not respect. She cannot respect what has no boundary. This is why men who give everything too fast always get abandoned. You didn't lose her because you were too nice. You lost her because you made yourself too available in a way that screamed, "I have nothing more important than you." Attraction needs oxygen. You smothered it. Now I want you to notice something uncomfortable. Weak men think that setting boundaries will scare women away. Strong men understand that no boundary is what kills attraction. It's counterintuitive at first because your fear tells you, if I say no, she will leave. Listen carefully. If the only way she stays is if you betray yourself, she is not staying with you. She is staying with access. Access is not love. Access is not desire. Access is convenience. If you want to be desired, not used, you need to be willing to remove access. That is self-respect. That is not a quote for social media. That is a habit. Practice it. The third habit is directional ambition, not random ambition, not loud ambition, directional ambition. Let me explain this clearly because this is one of the most misunderstood pieces in male attractiveness. A lot of men think ambition means, "I tell her I'm going to be rich." That is not attractive. That is childish fantasy. Real ambition is not about boasting. Real ambition is about demonstrated trajectory. She is not asking, "Is he already there?" She is asking, "Is he moving?" And, "Is he moving with discipline?" In studies on long-term attraction and mate selection, women consistently rank traits like drive, competence, and progress as deeply desirable because they reveal resourcefulness, leadership, and future security. You do not have to be at the top, but you do have to be climbing. If your life is flat, your attraction is flat. Directional ambition means you are actively building something real that matters to you, and you are structured about it. You have targets. You have routines. You have non-negotiables. You are not just surviving. You are building. If you wake up with no mission, you become addicted to distraction. And a man addicted to distraction becomes emotionally clingy because he has nothing else filling his mind except whoever is giving him attention right now. That is why aimless men become obsessive men. That obsession does not feel romantic to a woman. It feels suffocating. You become heavy. You become the project instead of being the leader of a project. Directional ambition does three things for your attractiveness. First, it creates scarcity. Scarcity means your attention is valuable because it is not available to everyone at any time. If you are always free, you are signaling low demand. Humans desire what feels valuable, and value is always tied to scarcity. Second, it creates gravitational pull. You are not chasing her to fill your emptiness. You are inviting her to orbit something that already has momentum. Women feel that difference immediately. Third, it creates future tension in a good way. She starts to imagine herself next to you in that vision, and she starts to invest emotionally without you needing to sell yourself. That is powerful. That is how attachment forms. So ask yourself right now, and be brutal. What are you actively building? Can you describe it in one sentence without lying? Can you describe what you did for it in the last 7 days? Not in theory, but in action. If the answer is no, then you found one core reason you feel ignored. You are trying to attract through attention instead of through direction. Attention without direction feels like pressure. Direction with selective attention feels like leadership. Do you understand how different that feels to a woman? One says, "Please like me, I'll do anything." The other says, "This is where I am going, you're welcome to join, but I'm moving either way." That tone is irresistible when it's real. Now understand this part. Ambition is empty if your habits contradict it. You cannot say you are focused and then live like a man with no discipline. Consistency is what makes ambition believable. That is why this is a habit, not a fantasy. You have to show discipline in the boring areas: sleep, nutrition, training, financial control, time management. You cannot claim you want an exceptional life and then spend 6 hours a day numbing yourself with content that gives you nothing back. You cannot claim you value your future and then hand over your focus to whatever distracts you first. You cannot claim you are serious and then procrastinate everything. Women are scanning for that contradiction at a subconscious level. When they feel it, attraction dies. When they don't feel it, attraction spikes. The fourth habit is command of frame. Frame is one of the most important concepts in seduction psychology, social dynamics, negotiation, leadership, and yet most men have never been taught how it actually works. Frame is the invisible rule set that defines how reality is interpreted in any interaction. Whoever controls the frame controls the meaning. Whoever controls the meaning controls the direction. In simple terms, the attractive man does not let other people define him in real time. He defines himself and invites others to align or leave. Weak frame looks like this. You constantly try to prove that you are not a bad guy. You try to convince someone that you are worth it. You chase after misunderstandings. You panic when you feel judged. You explain yourself too much. You try to manage what everyone thinks about you. That is reactive frame. That is, tell me who I am so I can adjust. Women sense this and instantly categorize you as lower status. Not because they are cruel, but because you just gave away your authority. You basically said, "You are the judge, I am the applicant." Applicants do not generate desire. Applicants generate boredom. Strong frame looks like this. You interpret events instead of being defined by them. You do not emotionally overinvest in defending yourself. You decide what you are available for. You stay grounded in your own standards and reality, calmly. Understand what I am saying. Frame is not about arguing. Frame is not about dominating through force. Frame is about quiet certainty. Quiet certainty is dangerous in the most attractive way because it signals that your sense of self cannot be easily shaken. That is incredibly attractive to a woman because, again, on a deep biological level, it reads as stability. She feels like you are rooted, not floating. This is exactly why sarcasm, teasing, and playful challenge can work so well when used correctly. They show that you are not rattled. You are not seeking approval. You are comfortable regulating the emotional temperature of the interaction. But be careful. Immature men hear frame and turn it into arrogance, disrespect, fake superiority. That is insecurity in disguise. True frame is not about disrespecting her. True frame is about refusing to disrespect yourself. There is a difference. When you hold frame, you are not saying, "I am better than you." You are saying, "I am not abandoning myself to impress you." That is the exact point where desire and respect intersect. Now, here is why most men lose frame. They confuse access with connection. For example, she pulls back, and immediately they chase. She gets distant, and immediately they panic. She acts cold, and immediately they start proving themselves, over-explaining, apologizing for things that are not even wrong, becoming available instantly, offering gifts, pouring out paragraphs of validation. All of that is low frame. All of that is, "Please don't leave. I'll bend however you want." That does not pull her closer. That confirms her doubt. High frame is different. High frame says, "If you pull back, I match your distance. Not to punish you. To stay aligned with reality. I am not here to beg for interest that is not being freely given." That energy is powerful because it is rare. Most men cannot do it because their ego needs constant reassurance. But here is the truth. The more you are willing to release what is not choosing you, the more magnetic you become to what will actually value you. The fifth habit is physical congruence. Let's be mature about this. You cannot talk about being high value and then present yourself like you have given up on yourself. Your body is not about vanity. Your body is a signal. It signals self-discipline. It signals vitality. It signals self-respect. It signals how you manage stress. It signals whether you are capable of protecting, building, and sustaining. This is not about looking like a movie star. This is about carrying a body that matches your message. You can have the strongest mindset in the world, but if your physical presence communicates fatigue, disorganization, neglect, or weakness, you create cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance destroys attraction because it creates doubt. Doubt is the enemy. There is a reason physical training is a core thread in every serious masculinity framework, from ancient warrior cultures to modern performance psychology. Strength training, mobility, posture, hygiene, grooming, style, scent, sleep, nutrition, stress management, recovery. This is not ego, this is signaling. When you walk into a room, before you speak, your posture has already spoken. Your skin has already spoken. Your eyes have already spoken. Your energy level has already spoken. Attraction is not only psychological, it is also biological and sensory. She is not just reading your words, she is reading your vitality. Vitality is the opposite of decay. Vitality is, I am alive, present, in my body, and capable. That feeling is magnetic. Let's get specific. Attractive men are intentional about their physical presence in four main ways. First, posture and body language. Your shoulders, your neck position, your pace of movement, your eye contact, your breathing. If you move like you are collapsing into yourself, you are giving off apology energy. Apology energy is repulsive. You do not need to puff up and act aggressive. You just need to expand into your body instead of shrinking out of it. Second, grooming and presentation. Clean nails, clean hair, clean scent, clean clothes that fit your structure. Nothing sloppy. This is not superficial. This is respect. When you present yourself well, you are communicating, I take myself seriously. People mirror that. Third, energy management. Your sleep, your hydration, your nutrition, your stress output. You cannot look dead inside and expect people to feel drawn to you. If your nervous system is constantly burnt out, you will radiate irritability or exhaustion. That is not attractive. Fourth, strength. Not perfection, not bodybuilding trophies. Strength. Functional, visible, controlled strength. Strength changes the way you carry yourself, the way you open doors, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you place your hand on someone's lower back. Women notice strength more than most men understand, because strength is not just visual, it is felt. It is a presence cue. Now here is what you must understand. These 5 habits are not separate. They are connected. Emotional regulation, self-respect, ambition, frame, physical congruence. Together, they create a field around you, a field of certainty, a field of quiet authority, a field of controlled desire. That field is what women respond to at a deep level, even if they cannot explain why. You have seen this in real life without realizing it. You have seen a man who was not the best-looking guy in the room, and yet every woman there kept glancing at him. You thought it was luck. It was not luck. It was field. He was anchored in himself. He was not performing. He was not chasing. He was not auditioning. He was already occupied with his own mission, his own standard, his own rhythm. That is what you are building. Let me give you something uncomfortable but necessary. Most men are trying to buy attraction using behavior that destroys it. They think that always being available will make them look caring. It makes them look empty. They think that agreeing with everything will make them look easy to get along with. It makes them look weak. They think that over-explaining their feelings will make them look transparent. It makes them look uncontained. You are not failing because you are too nice. You are failing because you are signaling, I have no core. Attractive men are not attractive because they treat women badly. That is childish nonsense pushed by bitter people. Attractive men are attractive because they have a core and they are loyal to it. They can desire a woman deeply without losing themselves in that desire. That is rare. That is why it is valuable. Now, I want you to audit yourself with brutal honesty, not with shame, with clarity. Shame makes you defensive. Clarity makes you dangerous. Rate yourself in each habit from 1 to 10. Habit 1. Emotional regulation under pressure. Do you stay calm, or do you explode, chase, panic, and beg? Habit 2. Self-respect in micro-decisions. Do you keep abandoning yourself to keep access to people who are not even choosing you? Habit 3. Directional ambition. Are you building, progressing, disciplined, or are you just fantasizing and distracting yourself? Habit 4. Frame control. Do you lead the tone, or are you constantly adjusting to avoid disapproval? Habit 5. Physical congruence. Does your body, posture, energy, and presentation match the story you tell about yourself? Be honest. You cannot fix what you keep lying about. You also cannot fake these habits long term. They have to become real. And here is something that should excite you. All of this is trainable. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are just untrained. You were trained your whole life to chase approval instead of cultivating presence. You were trained to beg for attention instead of developing gravity. You were trained to prioritize comfort instead of capacity. That training can be reversed, but you cannot reverse it by talking about it once and then going back to the same patterns. You reverse it by repetition. Repetition creates identity. Identity creates aura. Aura creates attraction. So let's talk about repetition. Emotional regulation is trained by exposure to stress without instant reaction. When you feel triggered, instead of immediately responding, you pause. You breathe low and slow. You observe. You respond later, with intention, not instantly with ego. Do that consistently, and you are literally rewiring your nervous system to hold tension. That rewiring becomes visible in your presence. Self-respect is trained in the small choices. You do not have to transform your life overnight. You just have to stop abandoning yourself in the next interaction. One decision at a time. It compounds. Ambition is trained with structure. You block time for your mission, and you protect that block like your life depends on it, because it actually does. Frame is trained by refusing to chase validation. You let people have their opinion without feeling responsible to fix it. You stop performing. You stand in what you said. Physical congruence is trained by daily maintenance, not random bursts. Sleep correctly. Eat like you respect your future. Train strength. Move with intention. Here is the shift. You are not doing these things to impress women. If you do it for that, you will fail because it will feel fake and forced. You do this because this is who you choose to be as a man. When that identity is real, attraction becomes a side effect. Women are drawn to men who are already claimed by their own standard. Women are repelled by men who are begging to be validated into worth. Your problem is not that women are impossible to please. Your problem is that you are approaching them from a place of "please complete me." That energy repels them at a biological level because it feels heavy, it feels unsafe, it feels like responsibility, and responsibility is not attractive. What is attractive is, I am good, I am grounded, I am in motion, and I choose you because I want you, not because I need you to fix me. Listen carefully to this next part, because if you understand this, you stop chasing and you start attracting. Desire without need is irresistible. When you desire a woman but you are not emotionally dependent on her reaction, she can relax into the interaction. She does not feel like she is carrying your ego in her hands. She does not feel like if she says one wrong thing you will spiral. She does not feel like she is suddenly your therapist, your mother, your savior. She feels like she can flirt, open up, test you, respect you, and trust you because you are not unstable. That is what creates that addictive feeling. Not looks, not lines, not tricks. Stability plus desire equals polarity. Polarity creates tension. Tension creates attraction. So let me be absolutely clear with you. If you develop these 5 habits, really develop them, not pretend, not post about them, not talk about them, but live them, 2 things will happen. First, women will respond to you differently. They will speak to you with more softness, more openness, more respect. They will seek your attention, not just tolerate it. They will remember you when you leave the room. They will replay what you said. They will bring your name up. Second, maybe more important, you will respond to yourself differently. You will stop acting like the backup option in your own life. You will stop begging for invitations to tables that insult you. You will stop obsessing over people who are not investing in you. You will stop trying to fix people who are committed to their own chaos. You will stop negotiating your value with people who benefit from your confusion. You will move different. You will talk different. You will think different. You will walk into a room and your presence will say, "This is a man who knows himself." That is the point. Now hear this like a checkpoint. Emotional control, micro self-respect, directional ambition, frame, physical congruence. You lock those in and you become the man that other men quietly watch, try to copy, and never quite replicate because they are looking for hacks while you are building habits. You lock those in and you become the man women feel first and understand later. You lock those in and you stop chasing attraction because attraction starts chasing you. You have a choice now. You can listen to this, feel hyped for 5 minutes, and then go back to the same patterns that are destroying your presence. Or you can treat this like a line in the sand. From this moment forward, you stop acting like a man who is trying to be picked, and you start acting like a man who is already chosen, by himself, by his mission, by his standards. That is the energy that pulls her in. That is the energy that keeps her there. That is the energy that makes her feel, without you saying a word, this man is not like the rest.